1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Let's see if we get some alerts. Some alerts going on out there. Party people in the place to be. Felix Almanzar, what's the deal? Over here, Judah TV. Yeah, I see it. I'm over here playing around again. Trying to figure out how this little new system right here works. What is that? Okay. Yeah, I always wanted to get one of these layouts like this right here. This is just some type of template they had there. I just tried it out. You know what I'm saying? But what's going on out there? You know, we got a little lightweight. Well, I got a little lightweight stuff to talk about. You know, probably, you know, not all that. This mic came with something. I don't know what kind of mic this is. It's not a kind of mic. Like this came with something. But it's not like the AKG. It's not the TLM. You know what I'm saying? I got a few topics. I guess we'll wait for some more people to come in because I need a favor from y'all. You know, every blue moon I come in and I need y'all to do something. So, you know, on this particular one, right, Quizar Quaco Laban, you know, on this particular one, I need y'all to relay a message to somebody that, you know, I don't speak to them. You know, but I mean, yes, I guess it's fair. You know, I wouldn't say I talk about him. You know, I talk about things that he do. So, you know, I was hoping to get enough people in here that somebody that knows him can relay the message. Because in all reality, here's the thing, right? For 2026, I pretty much, you know, I buried all the hatchets. Like just in general in life, right? You know, especially as more and more things happen to people. Like crashing out used to mean going to sleep. Yeah, look. I remember that. I definitely recall that. But you know, nah, it's something else. But you know, yeah, that is what I was getting into right there. In terms of, you know, a lot of times now that's how I look at it. Is that, you know, instead of crashing out, I add a cipher. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I learned something. I learned something from that right there. Whatever it is, you know, or I had that experience now. You know what I'm saying? So I can add that cipher, but I'm not even going to crash out with you. You see what I'm saying? So every blue moon I do that where I bury, you know, where it's like, look, if nothing ain't happened already, right? Then, you know, what's the point of continuing to take up that brain power? See, everything that you're retaining in your brain, right? That's taking up brain power. You know what I'm saying? Like when you eating and all these various things, right? The vast majority, well, I ain't gonna say the vast majority, but the priority, right, of all the nutrients that you taking in through food, all the oxygen that you taking in through breathing, right? The first priority is for your brain. Right? So if the first priority is for your brain, then that's what that's doing. For you to sit there and keep in your mind whatever grudge it is that you have against a person, then yeah, you taking up brain power doing that. You know, that could be better used some other way. So, you know, from time to time, I do that. You know, where, you know, because you know, there's times where, look, you might have a situation with somebody and then you don't even recall what it was that, you know, y'all end up not liking each other over. Or the situation that y'all had a discrepancy over it is not even the situation no more. So a lot of times like that, it's time to let it go. You know what I mean? Especially in these last years where, you know, a lot of brothers have been, you know, returned to the essence and stuff like that. So then it makes, you know, at least it makes me think like that in terms of, you know, you don't want to give yourself a heart attack, right? Thinking about something that is, you know, holding on to, so, you know. So at the end of 2025, yeah, I let a lot of things go. Like, look, I talked to King Saint. What's today? Yeah, that was yesterday. I talked to him last night. You know what I'm saying? You know, because it's like, look, you know, we going back and forth, you know, you keep saying all this stuff or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, all right, we supposed to keep, you know, meeting here, meeting there. It's like, yo, you know what? You know, I already, you know, it's no need for me to continue pursuing, right, this situation, you know, because it's not like I'm really, you know, that's my mentality, like that's what I want to get into, you know, and it's clear that you don't want it. So what is the point of me, you know, what is the point of me even continuing to go through that? So, you know, like I said, we was on the phone for a while, you know. Shock a lot, dopest man alive. Should I probably take it down? It's difficult dealing with these 85ers. I'm a true and living, dealing with the savage. and uncivilized in Elizabeth. I mean, well, you going, but in the future, whenever you come back, I would like to know, or my question would have been, why you dealing with the 85ers? Like that's kind of what this live stream is about, right? That's what I'm saying. You could just add a cipher, meaning add a cipher of knowledge, right? That you learn something about that person as an individual, right? And people in general, right? Or add that cipher of experience, right? Like, okay, I've been through that now, and now I'm gonna leave it alone. You see what I'm saying? Instead of crashing out with these people, getting into arguments with these people, it going, beyond arguing, whatever the case may be, man. A lot of times, I mean, and that's not to say that that's every situation. But with a lot of these situations, like, how, especially, when you're younger, and you got people that you got in a fight with, and y'all be laughing about the fight, like y'all be together, like you see the person years later, you be like, yo, remember that time, man? So you know what I'm saying? And y'all, it's funny now. Now there are people, right, that I do this, right? It's like I don't go through trying to recall, like what it is that we had a discrepancy over. I may not recall that, but I will put you in the category in my brain where it's like, yeah, I don't want no dealings with you. Like, I'm not going to take the time to recall, like, it's people that they be like, yo, I'll be like, yeah, I don't even recall what happened. Like, I don't even recall the details. I don't want to go back into it. But I'm not dealing with you because you've been put into the category of you cannot live around me no more because I'm not going to be the one that you sting. So my job site currently is in the community I came up in. I'm forced to encounter them. But, I mean, I hear you what you're saying. I'm not doubting you what you're saying, but I'm just, you didn't necessarily put what is difficult, if it's the community that you grew up in, why, I don't see, it just seems like you might have an easier time with the community being that you grew up there is what I'm thinking. All right, Wordsmith, you gotta you gotta clarify that question because I ain't sure where you going with that. He said, I'm an elder kicking 50 in the ass, still having to deal with being as though I'm raised there and have to see them. I don't understand. I mean, first of all, if you kicking 50 in the ass, I mean, you're not my elder. But, I mean, I don't, maybe I'm not familiar with your neighborhood too. That's another thing. Let's not leave that out, right? That it could be things going on there that I'm not taking into consideration. So let's definitely acknowledge that you're the best knower of, where you grew up at and everything. Wait, who is this? Somebody said somebody ate all their chicken or something. I can't. I'm trying. Somebody. I can't see the comment though. You said you need to monetize differently. I deal with a lot of 85%ers too. They said try not to encounter with them in terms of back and forth grandstanding. I mean, yeah, I mean, look, dealing with all worlds from highest to lowest includes dealing with the people in those worlds. All of that is a part of, we don't have those types of what's the name, right? We don't have those types of, just I guess you could say sayings or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But, that's a part of going through the hells. Yeah, I said the hood just had me pissed off to see. I mean, look, that happens too. that happens too. You know what I mean? And, sometimes you just got to express that because, you can't necessarily keep that pent up. You know what I mean? But yeah, sometimes you do experience an amount of ignorance that you thought you left behind. Like you thought you left that behind, but here it is right here. So I definitely been there. You said blacks who descend from transatlantic slave trade, do you think they are harsh in the way they treat one another? I mean, particularly with, because there's different ways to look at that. We good at pressure on each other, right? But we also could be, the most sensitive. You know what I'm saying? It's like some of the things that people in the hood will fight over. But you can't even look at somebody hard. You know what I'm saying? Just the way somebody could be looking at somebody, man. I don't like the way. What are you thinking? He's scheming. He must be scheming. He trying to rob me. Like, see what I'm saying? I don't like that shirt he got on. I like the color. I like the color of his shirt. So some of the things that people call harsh, especially today. For me, it's like, y'all was just two people that lived in the world at the same time. I don't see how y'all got into a beef. Oh, I see what you said. So wait, your son's girl brought his cat to the house. Your son's girl brought his cat to your house, and the cat ate the people food. The boss said, when I get a hard stare in born Mecca, I just look and say peace. Hey, look, I do that too. I got that from his brother back in the days. We should be walking. He should just be saying peace all the time to people. And one day I asked him, like, yo, why you be saying peace to all these people then, like, you know to me? Like, nah, he just staring at me. I staring at him, so I said peace. And then I started doing it, and what I noticed is that it kind of disarms people. like if they was scheming on you, like when you say peace, it throws them off. You know what I mean? Because first of all, when you say something to them, then they know you're not scared of them. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, it's like what you said, it like throws them off. You know what I'm saying? Because you said something positive in that moment, and the person don't know how to react to that or something. But yeah, I do that all the time. So wait, the cat jumped on the stove and ate the food. Whew. So wait. So the cat like this is a whole situation, I'm saying. Because I'm saying if his shorty's cat is at the house, then she's there quite a lot. That But yeah, that is something right there. I would have to say that all three of them might have to go. Listen, all three of them might have to go, depending on how hungry I was when that happened. All three of them had to go. Hey, look, at the very least, all three of them had to go to the store and give me some. Hey, listen, all three of y'all better go down there. What's that restaurant, that Jamaican restaurant they got over there by Rochdale? Y'all better put a leash on that cat and walk down, however you gotta get down there, call an Uber, whatever you gotta do, you better come back here with some food for me. And use her money. That's definitely one of the things where you gotta put your foot down. So you said she lived there now too. That you got to establish that rule. That rule needs to be established out front. AVG said, we walk the earth with humility, and when we approach the ignorant, we say peace. Yeah, Shaka Noodle, you see what I'm saying too, right? You gotta draw the line somewhere. you, got, you gotta draw the line somewhere. Absolutely. Yeah, man. Hey, look, hey, look. Don Bishop, they gotta get cooked food now. Like, if I already cooked the food, and then the cat jumped on the stove and ate it. Now I need cooked food. I don't need. I don't need to work again unless is she going to cook it? That is had to be look. That had to be serious discussions. Serious discussions. But yeah, now look. Brother asked me a while ago what happened with that. The only reason I will address that, right, because I don't care about that kind of stuff. The only reason I will address that is because that is kind of what the topic is about. Right? You know what I mean? Where, you had a cipher. It's something that happened just like, you went to elementary school and you left, you added that cipher. You completed everything that you had to do there. You know what I'm saying? And that knowledge and that experience that you had there still lives on with you now. That's one of the ciphers behind whatever unit you manifesting right now. You know what I mean? When you go outside and you tie your shoe, that's because learning to tie your shoe is a cipher that you added on. You're not still going through that. So, with that situation with the guy, Anton Daniels, and the dude, Corey Holcomb, first of all, I thought that's what happens when it's like we in this internet world, right? We in the internet world, and on this particular instance, the two people was in the same room. You know what I'm saying? Like, on the internet, people be talking loose all the time. You know what I'm saying? But, we all know that if these two people was in the same room, that wouldn't have went like that. So that's what happens, right? They in the same room and they start saying things to each other. They start saying things to each other that's out of pocket, right? Now, they get into the confrontation, right? They get into the confrontation, right? I didn't really think, I thought, both of them did what they were supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you took it beyond, so I had to let you know, listen, let's not talk like that. Like, we having a conversation, whatever, right? But let's not talk like that, right? And I thought Anton did what he was supposed to do. Like, look, if you're going to attack me, right, you much bigger than me. I'm not going to sit here like no sitting duck and let you just dive on top of me. Right? So he stood up. He got it in a position before I say that, right? He stood up and said, well, let's step outside then. Like, if this is where it's going, let's step outside. Like, I don't look. I don't want you to jump on me on this camera and then the whole world's, let's step outside. You know what I'm saying, whatever happened, but just in general, somebody's much bigger than you and you ain't got your feet where you can move. I thought he did what he was supposed to do. Now, after that, they should have just left it alone. That's where I thought things got funny. You know what I'm saying? That's why I thought things got funny. Like where it's like, okay, now when you talking about, I seen in video when Anton is talking about, yo, Corey would have got fucked up and all this. It's like, yeah, see, now it's now you made it funny. And it's one of them things where, you gotta sometimes think about who you trying to impress, yo. You know what I'm saying? You gotta think about who you trying to impress, because I think right now, Anton Daniels is trying to impress like children and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because, people that's his age or close to his age or older, it's like, didn't nobody want to see y'all fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not, it wouldn't have changed my view of either person if they fought. It wouldn't have changed the checks that either way, it's not really, as far as I was concerned, it was like, look, he said what he said, they finished the conversation on the stream, and then they went their way. So, with stuff like that, I don't think that was particularly cruel, and I don't think that was particularly something that's dealing with black people. You know what I'm saying? That's an internet thing. You know what I'm saying? And it is another example of what I'm saying, something where it's like, you crashing out. You know what I'm saying? When, that's just something that's an experience you had. Like, that's one of the things that happened since you've been a content creator on YouTube. Yeah, look. Anton, but see, when Anton said that, he was pissed off because Corey said he be kissing ass. See, that's what I'm saying. It started from them just talking, and those was things that if I'm talking on my live stream to the screen, I come off with that. You talking on your live stream to the screen, you come off with that. But we face to face. And see, that's what usually doesn't happen on the internet. That's what went crazy. Anton talking about he's suing Corey because his daughter is being bullied at school. I mean, who knows, man? You said Anton is a professional Tom. What's a professional Tom? But yeah, that's I don't see that as any evidence of any particular cruelty. It's just really, look, when you from the hood, you see arguments like that all the time. Like that was, that wasn't even particularly He said these black conservatives who don't like their own people, Tommy Sotomayor, Jesse Peterson, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, see, like for instance, with the Tommy Sotomayor, I think that's an act. Like, I'm not saying that he doesn't really have any of those views, right? But I'm saying that the way he expresses it, and all of that, in particular, Jesse Peterson, all of them, all that stuff is an act. You know what I'm saying? And you have to beware, right? And, I'm not saying this about you, right? I'm not saying that you're like that, but I'm saying that's a trait of something that women do. You see, women like to see drama, right? And be outraged about some shit that ain't even got nothing to do with them. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that stuff is done, right, for the purposes of that. You know what I'm saying? He said if you're 50 plus and somebody invites you to their Frank, do you still even react? That's like a 6F hitting you with a hard ER. You got to come up with new material to get me riled up and triggered. I would say, it's 50-50. Like, there's people that's like clownish, because I mean, in this day and time, Jigga 1017, let's keep it 100, right? You might hear that from a female in this day and time. Like, if I heard that from a female tomorrow, it wouldn't be my first time. You know what I'm saying? Prime Phoenix. Oh yeah, Don Bishop. That's what he told. Oh, Uncle Tom. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you don't mean Tom, you mean Sambo. Yeah, a lot of people get that mixed up. But Prime Phoenix, we're gonna get to, and it's look, I'm doing this every live stream now. I think I'm gonna have to cut down. I'm gonna have to cut down on the length of the live streams, because what's happening is I keep being a hypocrite. Like, I keep coming on here building about something, right? Supreme Justice was the deal. I come on here and build, like, all this time I've been building about letting things go and not crashing out. But I gotta ask you, Prime Phoenix, I gotta ask you, what are you doing here? Why are you not with your Muslim God brothers? We keep wondering why it is, because I mean, it doesn't appear that you're learning anything here, because a few times you've told me that I have baby knowledge. And quite a few times I've asked you, why don't you go? You don't identify with them. So let me ask you a question, Prime Phoenix. When I went in the 5%ers group, right? The 5%ers group that's ran by Wakil, and you was in the comment section, right? Commenting on one of the posts saying that there has to be a war between the righteous and the unrighteous. What was you talking about? Who's the righteous? Who's the unrighteous? And what is the purpose of this war? And if you don't identify with them, why you over there agreeing that there's going to be a war in who is the righteous and who is the unrighteous? You must correct me. Correct me. I'm ready to be corrected. You said, in order for the peacemaker to prevail, what must happen? You said the peace. Yeah, I don't know what you typed right there. But see, let me tell you something, Prime Phoenix. Whenever you relaying a topic, right? Whether it's a concept, or whether it's some history, right? It's difficult to recall every aspect. You said the must be dealt with. What did you mean by that? Like you corrected me. You saying the same thing. What did you mean by that? Is my point. But getting back to what I was just saying, right? Is that when you relaying a story, or whatever it may be, right? You may not recall everything, every aspect. You may not recall that, there was a person that walked past that had a red stripe on they sneakers. But see, there's some parts of a story that when you omit that, it makes what you're saying a lie. See, sometimes just a little teensy piece of what you left out made what you said a lie. I misquoted you. What did I say that, because I didn't quote you. That wasn't a quote. But what did I say that strayed away from the idea of what you said? You still didn't tell us who's the righteous and who's the unrighteous. Well, you told us a lie here, right, about how you don't know nothing about the Muslim guys. You said that you hadn't seen them since they gave you the knowledge in Atlanta decades ago. But somebody ended up sending me the link, and at the time when they sent me the link, I was like, man, why are you sending me this? I don't want to see this. And I just said, you know what? Let me click on it to see. And then I see you on page 1. After you said that you're not Muslim God, you're not affiliated with them, right? You don't know where they at. You haven't seen them. You the true and living. I said the peace breaker must be dealt with by the peacemaker. Okay, so who's the peace breaker and who's the peacemaker? And I want you to know that I screenshotted it. I got this new program today, so I don't know how to use it to bring that picture up. But we will be checking that. See, don't ever be talking to Darkim Be Allah, right? And forget who you talking to. Don't ever forget. You see, I know how to show improvement. In this day and time, they call it receipts. Nat, what's the deal? Hey Nat, you see that cat, that cat from Patterson? That cat from Patterson that I had to say something to. You probably, hey look, when you're doing constructive things, you miss stuff like that. But yeah, this guy from out there, they decide to have a whole meeting, where they discuss what I do. Yeah, I don't know what he think. He quoting Khalid Muhammad. But yeah, see, look, Prime Phoenix, that's just the deal with that. I needed to take that time. Prime Phoenix, yeah, that's the deal with that. I needed to take that time. I needed to take that time to address you about that. Because see, let me tell you something. That's a part of the civilization and righteousness you're supposed to be learning. If you don't have it already. See, civilization and righteousness, those are things that your parents got the power to teach you that. They don't have the knowledge of self. But see, when you said 10% must be dealt with by the 5%. Okay, who's the 10%? You keep using all these various, who are you talking about? Oh, naturally, look, him too, but that's another story. But look, I talked to him last night though. Like I was telling everybody, you know, from time to time, I bury certain hatchets where it's like nothing ain't happened, and then I seen that it's like, you know, it's not really nothing I need to really be watching you about because you don't really want to do nothing. So, you know, what's the point? But nah, this is a brother, man. You know, he's in the NOI. It don't got to do with the NOI, but he politics with the Muslim guys. So you know, we had some little discussions there towards the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? Where you know, it really starts. So I'm saying it be stuff. You know, I played a video of Elijah Muhammad on my page, and then they go in on some other, like, you know, couldn't call it. You know, but like I said, it ain't nothing. It ain't nothing. What's the name? But getting back to you, Prime Phoenix. This is the problem with y'all people. Y'all are not civilized and righteous, man. You see, I got 1,000 people want to argue with me about what's right. You know, conceptually. You know, argue with me, you know, about, you know, quoting this and listen. And what difference do any of that make when, you know, how can I expect you to tell me the truth about who I am when you can't tell me the truth about who you are? And see, anybody that's trying to teach these people, how do you expect them to tell anybody the truth of who they are when they can't tell you the truth of who they are? Jiggy 1017, where you sent it to? I don't think I saw it. Chew 230 says, so what do they study from 35 to 50 years for? Who's studying from 35 to 50 years? You see what I'm saying, Prime Phoenix? Now you come with you are nothing. See, I can't even tell you the truth See, I tell you the truth, and this is now I'm nothing. See, this is what I'm saying. This is why I like the heat to be high. See, that's why as soon as you came in here, whoosh, that's what you do. That's what you do. See, I hit you with the lighter with the aerosol can real quick. Real quick. Because fire purifies. So see, you come in here saying peace, right? But when I address you, right, about your little omission there, right, that made what you said a lie, now I'm nothing. So you should have said that when you came in. In fact, why'd you come in if I'm nothing? See, that's the thing. Have y'all noticed that? Every one of these cats talking about me, right? I'm nothing. Look, they never watch my channel, but they can always tell you what's going on my channel. This is why I love for the heat to be up. You got a point there, Choo. See, there's some people that want the knowledge for the purpose of just having something above everybody else. See, that's why they come on here and tell you, oh, you don't know this, you don't know that. See, I don't tell you what you don't know. I don't tell you about what you don't know. If it's something I think you don't know, then I manifest that knowledge. And then either you did know that and you know we could build and add on with it, or you didn't know it. Because it's not my goal to hold it over your head, right? So then it's an advantage. You see these people that constantly come in here, oh, you don't know this, and it's like you saving all your knowledge for this debate, this secret debate. You know, somebody sent me something about a West Coast can review, but I don't pay attention to can. You said you asked me to bring, I already told you. See, if I let you come on a channel, right, you might say something stupid. But yeah, to some people just wanna have the knowledge. Like to them, having this knowledge is the promised land. They don't plan to do anything with that knowledge. They just plan to keep throwing it up in other people's face, right? That they have a certain amount of knowledge. You know, now, are they ever going to live it out? You know, are they going to do anything? Are they going to build anything with that knowledge? Prime Phoenix said he will stand on his square. And let me. So, what's the square? How do you stand on the square? How does one go about doing that, right? For the various, we have new people that watch this channel. So for our brothers and sisters that's new to this, right? Could you tell us how does one stand on the square? Did anyone catch the news this morning? Not particularly what was on the news this morning. Yeah, back in the days, Cam had us on peace treaty. You know what I'm saying? But just, it's see, I'm at the stage in life, right, where it's like, look, if some people that they're in their mindset, that's what it is, there's no reforming them. There's no nothing. They 100% what they are. You know what I'm saying? They 100% what they are. So what's the point of you? You know what I'm saying? Like it's certain times, for me it's like, we already know what the situation is. What we talking about? So you said by showing and proving my righteousness. So you got a problem here, Prime Phoenix. Because you was dishonest with us. So if you stand on the square by showing and proving your righteousness, you got a problem. You at 66 degrees. You're not at 90 degrees. You said this African had a head, and you saw his brain. One of my dummy's people. What are you talking about? All right, see, first of all, pause. Just before I even repeat what you wrote right here, pause. But when you say, you say here, Darkim, you said, Darkim, will I spar with you? You spar? What do you mean spar with you? What are you talking about? See, Jigga 1017. I don't know if we about to test that theory. That theory that you put up there a while ago about people that's 50 plus. Oh, all right. Yeah. All right, Jigga 1017. Yeah, I saw that and then I didn't look at it because, like you said, like what the topic was, I kind of was like, yeah, I ain't got time for that right now. But I'll check it out now that you told me what it is. But yeah, certain things like that, it's like, ah, man. Guess he's thinking about whatever he got to say. But you know what? Look, let's go ahead and let him off the hook. You know what I'm saying? You know, I was going to kick you out, but you know, since you've been, you've been cool. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say you've been receptive to the knowledge, but you know, we'll let you, we'll let you stick around. See, you keep saying this stuff that it's not you, but it's 2026, so you got to say pause. Your brain against mine, you got to say pause with this kind of stuff in this day and time. And I hate that. I hate that, but that is just the reality now. It's a lot of new things like AI and pause is all things that I wish would go back. But I mean, you haven't expressed, you don't battle like that. Or the people here learning from me, I mean, you gotta ask them. But I just know in terms of, you talking about uh you talking about, I guess you wanna debate me on some topics or something, but I'm saying you haven't shown yourself to be uh you know, you gotta respect the sports, huh? You a tomato king. Like you remember it, well you can't remember, but if you pay attention to boxing, right? If you are like a historic boxing fan, where you go back into the older fights, right? Uh, Joe Louis, there was a period of time when he was when he was boxing, right? It was a certain string of victories he had where they used to call him the Bum of the Month Club. You never heard that? Where it's like sometimes, they'll go just out the skid row and find somebody who is big enough, give him a shave, put him in the ring. See that's how that's your level. So far, I mean, from what you expressed. Just, from the things which you've said so far, right? You haven't expressed yourself to be at that level. You're not world class, and you're not world class. You know what I mean? You're not even hood class. Evander Holyfield said Riddick Bowe was fighting gas station attendants. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You wherever you've been for the last whatever years, that's not even. It's not fair. Like, remember the other brother that was on the live stream? They started talking about cut off 4 white men's heads. Like, you need to battle with somebody like that. It's weight classes for a reason. See, this is a situation right here where I don't know how long you've been on this live stream, Prime Phoenix, but this is a situation for you to add a cipher, for you to say, look, I spoke to that ignorant Darkim Be Allah. He's ignorant, and now that I know how ignorant he is, I'm just gonna leave him alone. See, add that cipher. Next time if somebody's talking to you about me, like, yeah, I used to go on his channel. I don't deal with him anymore. Just, you had that experience where other people, they might, I heard Darkim was like this. So I met him, I know him. Right? Because that's a cipher that your knowledge has added. Right? An experience. That now, you might see somebody, oh, I've heard people like him before. He's just like that Darkim Be Allah. See, because you've added that on. You've added that cipher on to your knowledge. All right, see, this is really pause right here. I can't even repeat this. Are y'all looking at the comment box? Yo, saying it's not me, saying it's him. This is like that dude from the Boondocks. Remember, he was a dude that was really in jail. That said, I need you and I want you. Hey, look, man. Pause. Yo, son, listen. Yo, what's that dude's name? Fleece. You like Fleece Johnson out here. You know what I'm saying? You gotta watch that kind of language. I know you from Atlanta, but you got to watch that kind of language. I'm fairly sure even in Atlanta, that's not. Look, let's stop. Look, Prime Phoenix, clarify what you mean. let's not go. Let's not go off. Let's not go off the. Now, I'm a silly ass 85 because you talking this Fleece Johnson shit. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, Jewel TV in capital letters. Ooh. 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 So moving right along, back to what I was saying. You know what I mean? Because yeah, we've definitely we've gone far enough. But what I wanted to get to with this, one of the things that sparked this title of this live stream, right, is I don't know if we got particular people on this live stream, maybe some people will tune in, right? But check it out. Like I said, amongst the, things that I left alone, things that, in my perspective, I left in 2025. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about just the way that I do things, you know what I'm saying? Hold on, let me see something for a second because our battery is running low. Well, look, we might get cut off. Who knows? But the batteries is definitely getting low. Shalal, what's the signs? In fact, I meant to call you back. It's been a little bit, but I'm gonna hit you up. But, just the way I do things, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people look at me as being confrontational, you know what I'm saying? But from my perspective, it's like, look, whatever it is, let's just deal with it now. Like, why are we holding grudges against each other and talking to everybody else about what we don't like about each other? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we talking to all these other people? And it don't necessarily mean that you got to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? But look, if you're not gonna do nothing, then let's stop. You know what I'm saying? What we looking at each other? What we talking about each other behind each other back for and all that? And if it is a problem to that level where you got to keep carrying it like that, you know what I'm saying? Then look, let's, so. Mr. Saladin, from my perspective, whatever he's done that I had a problem with, I addressed it. You know what I'm saying? So he was another person where it's like, look, I left you in 2025. I left you way before that. But just to say that, he says, son of a dastardly what? All right, now look, I'm going to tell you. Both of my parents are deceased, right? And my mom's passed away very recently. So if I was you, I would watch. I wouldn't talk about me being the son of nobody. I'm still not 100% prepared to hear you talk about my mom. My pops neither, but that was a much longer time ago where I've leveled out with that. But let's stay in pocket here. You know what I'm saying? But so look, it keeps being, he keeps having certain the past, he put out a little post. And in the post, he was talking about certain things that, brothers should be doing. You know what I'm saying? He was saying that there's certain things that brothers should be doing, and, instead of doing 4-hour grainy videos broadcasted to nobody. You know what I'm saying? People should be doing what he's suggesting and not doing 3-hour videos talking about other people. But see, here's the thing. As soon as you did that, didn't you make a post just now talking about other people? You saying how bad this is, but you took the time out in your post to talk about other people. See, if you got something to say, just say it. Other than that, look, he's also on the list of people telling that, look, that's what this whole live stream is about. See, I learned who you are. Now, look, here's the thing. I ain't talking about you. I ain't talking about your family. I ain't talking about if you tall or short, fat or skinny. I ain't talking about none of that. See, because what Allah said, we don't talk about nobody. We talk about what they do. And if you did righteous, I would have talked about that too. In terms of the nation, but what you did is you told lies and you stole. And see, all I did was my duty, right? Which is not allow you to live before you sting someone else, because see, you here. It ain't even like you going over there, you stinging some people that, that's what they do over there. It's all the den of snakes over there, everybody stinging everybody. No, you didn't do that. What you did is you told lies, you stole, and you tried to master the original man. Now, somebody here tell me, right, if you were 5%, right, I'm a 5%, and somebody snakes the 5%, and I know it, what you expect me to do? Like, when you look at the facts and the circumstances, right, because see, here's the thing. You didn't say you didn't do it. See, you said I talked about what you did. Yeah, what you did was wrong. You wouldn't have had a problem with it if I would have talked about all those TV shows you've been on. You wouldn't have been upset if I talked about your school and all those things, right? You being a school teacher. So now I got to take you back to Run DMC. If you did it, admit it. If not, you shouldn't have did it. So in the meantime, in between time, look, you ain't got to worry about me. You ain't got to think about me. Because I'm not thinking about you until you keep making these statements. Or until you do something, look. It's some people, and I'm going to leave it with this right here, man. And that's one of the reasons why you got to add a cipher and not crash out with people, because some people want to crash out and die. But there's some people that want to see us fail just so they can be right. It's some people that want to see this fall just so it can look like they know what they talking about. And they not participating because they want it to fail. They want it to look like they better than all the people that was putting in the work. But see, that's just the thing. I'm busy. I ain't got time. You know what I'm saying? So look, tell him, you tell all the rest of the people too. Right? 2026 is a fresh start for me. Like every year, but I'm just saying, let me remind those. Exactly. Don Bishop, all that was born dead. And so now I have other plans. I have other things what I'm doing. I got things I want to expand, the boxing class. Like I said, the computers is getting upgraded at the school. We got some other classes coming. We got a lot of things to do. But be sure, right, that just like you see me do here with Prime Phoenix, right, that I'm always going to keep the fire lit. I'm going to keep the fire lit because fire purifies. See, that's when the truth come out. That's when you find out who people truly are.